Man, what an environment. Homecoming was amazing. The crowd was awesome. Our fans were excited. Gutsy win. Gutsy win. It's hard to win in this league. It's hard to win in football. Liberty came in with, their pedigree strong. They're 21 and 8 over the last, or something like that, over the last 2 years. Undefeated season last year, 2 years ago. 8-win season last year. Guys, they played hard. We had chances early in the first half to get things rolling offensively. Just got out of sync. Every time we got something going, it seemed like it was a penalty. We had like maybe seven or eight first and second and 15s. First and 15 or second and 15, 7 of those. And that's tough to overcome, but we were able to do that. And sometimes it has to happen for us to go to the next level. For penalties the last 2 games, and somehow or another, you get 14. And that's a recipe for disaster. But our defense produced turnovers. They did a phenomenal job against this unit, who rushes the ball very well. We did a good job of preparing last week for what they were going to do defensively. Again, producing 4 turnovers, not turning the ball over, gave us a chance. When we did have chances to score down in the red zone, Jackson Cleaver had another great day kicking field goals. But in order for us to go to the next level, we have to finish drives. We have to finish drives with touchdowns and not shoot ourselves in the foot with penalties. So great team win, great complimentary team win. Never going to balk at that, but we clearly have some work to do before we jump into MAC play.
Just expanding on the defense to force 4 turnovers, 4 sacks, and just so many big plays. Like just how impressive was that, and just for the whole game to really play that way they did.
It was great. They came out with the intent to establish the tone. We started off with our defense, and we wanted them to come out and get their eyes ready to get their to set the tone physically. We felt like it was a good matchup with our defensive line, their offensive line. And we came out ready to play. Gap sound, there was gap integrity. Our rush lanes were really good. We were able to finish some drives. Khalil had a very, very good half. I think he punched the ball out, had an interception. We got points off of that. So, again, they stayed engaged throughout. And it was really great to see them step up, especially after last week where they got exposed and they were humbled a bit. So it was good to see how they responded to this week coming up for this challenge.
I just wanted to ask, going back to the excitement in the air, biggest crowd in a decade. I know when you guys were driving up, see a lot of tailgaters. What did you think of the scene tonight?
Man, it got goosebumps coming into the stadium, man. It was awesome to see that, all the fans out tailgating, and the Warrior Walk was awesome, was energy. Great seeing alumni, fans engaged, the fans packed. You could sense it, and it felt good. And I really wanted to have our kids come out and play loose, have fun, and take in the moment because it was a really awesome day today.
And just big picture, 50 new players, knew everything. Say gutsy win. What do you think you guys showed tonight about this team that everybody was kind of wondering what it's going to be?
Resilience. I think we definitely were resilient, and we didn't lose faith. We didn't panic in the eye of the storm. Offensively, again, you could sense that we were trying to get in a good rhythm, and every time we got an explosive play, a yellow flag was on the field, and you have to and that's tough to do. It's tough to try to call plays when you're at 2nd and 18 and 3rd and 18 and try to get into some type of rhythm. Again, our defense did a good job of allowing us to get a short field, to get some points on the board, and to get some confidence going. And you can sense that the offense is just starting to get going, and sometimes it takes some time, and that's the thing. You have to be patient with it. We just have to continue to trust what we're doing, continue to practice hard. A lot of the things that we made mistakes on, we can correct. We haven't had any issues, pre-snap penalties up until this point, and it's baffling and mind-boggling because we don't do it in practice. So it's something that we're going to look at on film We want to correct it, and we're going to continue to get better. That's what we have to do. Whether this was a loss or a win, doesn't matter. We still have to get better, and this is another opportunity for us to learn and grow. And luckily, we were on a winning side of things, but we have got to improve on our discipline, and that'll be handled.
Well, Coach, it's awesome to see players come into their own. We haven't seen a lot from Collins Achimpong on the defensive line, but he comes in, makes a presence for himself, and then tips that ball that's picked off.
Yeah.
What can you say about his performance
Well,
today?
Collins his body has transformed. He's transformed as a player since the time that we've been here. His length, you can see he's long, and if he can't get to the pass rusher or the quarterback as a pass rusher, he can do that. That's just as good as a sack. And you saw tip ball, interceptions, and he's showing his value and finding his role there. So it was good to see him, Collins, contribute in that capacity.
Coach, how much confidence does this win give this team after you guys did commit as many penalties as you guys did compared to the first 2 weeks and still came out with a multi-score victory?
Yeah, it does build confidence. I mean, it's not as bad as you think. It's never as good as you think. So we feel like, when we look at the film, we left a lot of plays out there like we did against Cincinnati. We felt like we left plays out there, and that game could have been different. We felt like we left plays out there yet again offensively because we felt like we could have really pulled away with this one early had we stayed in rhythm and not got behind the chains. But again, you need to go through this. You have to go through these type of games in order to build and grow. In order to get there, you have to go through it. You got to go through the tough stuff. You got to find it. It felt very uncomfortable, and we're learning how to be comfortable being uncomfortable in those situations, because not every game is going to be perfect, and we've got to learn to stay poised. Which we did. Stay focused. Again, we had a great attitude. Our intentions were pure. We trusted the process, trusted each other, and we helped each other along. And that's what it's all about. And all you can do is just continue to grow from there and harp on the great things and learn from the mistakes that we made.
And then you mentioned him in your opening statement, but just how important has Jackson Cleather been to this team this season? Made another 50-yard field goal here today.
Yeah, Jackson right now is doing wonderful, and I don't want to continue to do that, kicking 50-yard field goals. But Jackson has just been really good. His approach every week has been the same. He's really in a good rhythm, a good headspace. I don't bother him. I stay out of his way. He has his own routine, and I make sure that he's good. And Pudge is in the house too, so that also brings along some great energy as well. But Jackson's just been phenomenal. He's been very consistent, and we're going to continue to support him, and hopefully we don't have to rely on too many of those long field goals. We have to start generating drives, finishing drives with touchdowns, so we can kick more extra points than actual field goals.
Nicole, leaving BCSN, to have the defense cause 4 turnovers, did you sense like a difference in maybe like energy or ferocity that led to like that positive turnover margin tonight? Well,
we focus on that turning the ball over. That was one of my goals this season, was to be the number 1 team in the country in turnover margin, because that produces opportunities for our offense, and it sets fear in other opposing offenses, and we're very intentional about it. We do turnover drills every single day, where we focus on getting the ball out, being intentional about punching the ball out, interceptions, tip balls, everything. We call it the ski mask way. Not we're stealing anything, not in that way, not in a thuggery type of sense, but in a way that we're very intentional about it. Think of it as Ocean's 11, okay, in a classy way. Very intentional about it. So we that's our mentality. That's what we believe in, and that's what we preach. And it's starting to pay dividends. And on the flip side of that, we had a really good day of not turning the ball over, where we emphasize that as well. So it's showing up on film. We just got to now put together a complete game. And that's the beauty of going through a season, is that you never quite reach that perfect game. You're always going to have imperfect situations, and you have to fight through, and you have to have tenacity and the doggedness to see it through. And that's a great thing. So that doggedness is being developed as we speak through those tough moments during the course of a game. So that's the blessing in it all. So we have to have that in order for us to become who we want to become, and that's ultimately to become champions.
Kevin Hutchinson, Falcon Media Sports Network. Coach, Kal-El had a great day. Dorian Pringle had a great day, each of them having an interception and combining for 15 tackles on the day. What excites you most just about the leadership those guys provide?
Yeah.
And what's your goal for how you want to see this defense develop as the season goes on?
It's just that they have to continue to develop, build off of this. Both guys produced some big time tackles, big time hits. Kal-El also had, I think he punched the ball out as well. Yes, so he's been doing that since I got here. And we're going to continue to harp on those things. Pringle's been having a great year so far, and he's just everywhere. So, we're just going to continue to build next man up. We always preach 9 units strong, and our goal is to be 9 units strong by November. So, whoever's in there has that same mentality. The expectation is still there that they play at an extremely high level, and that's been our approach.
Coach, Artie Abrego, Falcon Media Sports Network. It felt like Drew Pine had a really solid second half once again this game. How important is just his veteran leadership into this team so far, and what did you think of his performance today?
I thought it was well, and Drew coming in, was dealing with some shoulder tightness, so we had to work through that, and we had to manage that throughout the course of last week's practice and preparation, and you saw it kind of show up a little bit in the first half, but the more that he threw, the more he got comfortable, and he got more confident, and when he was able to make those throws, and the offense gets going. So his leadership is like, hey, it doesn't matter how many yards I throw for, as long as we get the W. And he's making great decisions. He had a 30-yard run, and we need more of that. Just his poise in the huddle. And you notice that we huddle a lot because of his leadership. When you're getting a command, and you're getting the play from your leader, and you're getting it with confidence and conviction, that really permeates throughout the entire offense, and it breathes confidence and assuredness, like, hey, we're going to do this, and a level of certitude that you have to finish off those games. And it's starting to show us something that, again, another brick laid that we can build on each and every week.
Right here, Coach. Aiden Bruick, Falcon Media Sports Network. Dorian Pringle is such a key part to this Falcons defense. 2 tackles for loss today, 5 solo tackles. I think that the stats speak for themselves, obviously, but it's also important to look at the little things that he's able to do on the field as a middle linebacker. As a head coach, what are you seeing in Dorian Pringle's game, like the little things that you can see him do all around the field? Well,
it's how he works. He comes to practice that way. He practices hard. He's the captain of that defense, the captain, but also the quarterback of that defense. He makes the calls. He gets us in the right place, and he has great instincts for a middle linebacker. He's an eraser, and he's the way he communicates also helps our young guys get in the right position to make plays, and that's what you see out of him. He studies extremely well. He knows what an offense is trying to do, and he's getting coached up by Joe and Brandon. They do a phenomenal job of getting him ready and prepared each and every single week, and the level of play that he's playing at has just been phenomenal, and I'm excited about what the future holds for him.
Penalties tough for you, but they're just as tough for Liberty. They had 2 touchdowns called back via penalty in the first half. Did you get any sense of this game's really kind of going our way in that regard? We've really got to kind of take advantage of that, because obviously those are a couple really huge plays that could have been pulled.
Which ones?
They had 2. A long run, I think a
short
pass and then a long run, both called back via penalties.
Yeah, you're talking about them. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there were a lot of penalties all over the field, and we were fortunate enough that it went our way both those times. The back got out, and I could see it was holding, and they seemed reluctant to throw the flag, but luckily we yelled enough that they threw the flag and they took points off the board. And when you score in that capacity, and our offense was struggling at that point in time, panicking begin to set in. But again, was not the time to panic. It was just to stay the course and deal with it and overcome it and not complain about it. I think there were some inconsistencies there on both sides. I didn't know what pass interference was. I thought that our receivers were getting held, but then when we do it, our margin of error seems slim, and that's from my perspective. So I'm not going to ever complain or use excuses about the officiating because they're human too. But just the level of consistency for it was just unfortunate that it was fortunate for us that with the call went our way.
A 5 team that's been really, really solid, these past few years. Just what does this do for you guys confidence-wise to play this well and come out on top?
I mean, it's a great win, especially on homecoming. That's huge. Since I've been here, I don't believe we've had a homecoming win, so that feels amazing. Obviously, that's a good team. We're a good team, and those are the ones that you got to have.
First career touchdown for you. It came at a huge time late in the second quarter there. Just what was the excitement level to be able to come down with that pass?
Oh, man, that is years of emotion coming out in one play. Having my family right there along the fence, like in the corner that it happened, growing up coming to these games, like these are the things that you dream about. And then to be able to do it on homecoming in a big win right in front of where my family is at is huge.
Obviously, between guys like you and Finn Hogan, obviously you guys are very tall. You can win a lot of jump balls. Finn had a nice catch with a defender right there. Like, how much, just kind of pride and practice do you take in being able to win those kind of one-on-one kind of jump ball battles?
Yeah, when you're bigger, you got to be bigger. So you got to match up on a smaller guy. That's your job to go get it. And, you want to be the quarterback's safety blanket. Like, I could always count on this guy to go win a matchup, and that's what I do.
What do you think of the atmosphere tonight? I know it's the biggest crowd in a decade. You guys rolling in on the buses. You can see the scene's a little different than usual. What do you think of the scene tonight?
Yeah, just pulling up to the game, I'm like, man, there is a lot of people in this parking lot. But then they were, turned up in the stands, keeping everything loud, making the environment super cool and fun to play in. The student section did a phenomenal job. That's the best I've seen since I've been here. That was awesome.
How impressed were you with your team's resilience? There was a ton of penalties both sides,
yes.
But to find a way to overcome that and execute, had to feel pretty good at the end of the day to come out with the win.
Always great to come out with a win. We got to clean some things up with the penalties. We can control what we can control and then, let the rest take care of itself. But definitely good to get the win.
With how much the offense kind of was stalling at points in the first half, how important do you see that your touchdown was in terms of keeping momentum on your team side?
Our whole thing is just chipping away. So we're doing that in the first half, chipping away. And then that's what happens when, you're just slowly making progress. It could have been anybody. It just happened to be me at that time. But those are the things that we plan for, the type of situations we practice and, what we expected.
And then the defense, of course, forced 4 turnovers tonight. Just how does that fire you guys then up offensively to want to go out, put points up based on the effort that they're putting up?
Yeah, the defense getting the ball back so often is a huge momentum shift. So, being able to come onto the field with that much energy flowing already to start the drive is huge. And those guys did a great job today.
Jacob, obviously your dad was a great player here. What's it just mean to be following in his footsteps at this same institution, especially on homecoming weekend? What's that mean to you personally?
Everything, honestly. Growing up on the old NCAA games, I'm recreating that old team. We'll pop the DVDs in and be watching the games. And I didn't really realize how big of a deal the stuff that was going on back then was until I got older and I got here. And you could really just get the full picture and how, special some of the stuff that they were doing was. So to be able to, have a special moment like that tonight, get the big homecoming win in front of him is huge. One of the best moments of my life.
Jacob, it feels like the backfield of your guys' offense is so versatile. You guys are playing so many different running backs. How do you manage that as a player, knowing you guys can swap in and swap out so many players in the backfield?
Being able to have that much depth at any position is huge. And that's one of the things we talk about in the tight end room. We got a ton of guys that can play. And when you can switch out and not have enough drop-off, obviously everybody has their own strengths and weaknesses. But, as a core room, those guys are phenomenal. And so, we could have anybody in the game, and there's not going to be any drop-off, in terms of play.
Any more questions?
Jacob, you guys obviously still early in the season, 2-1 now and 2-0 at home. First time in over a decade that's happened with this program. Like, just how kind of special is that? You know, to get started that way, and obviously with so many changes, you know, to be able to come out with a couple wins early on.
Yeah, I mean, you want to start fast, and that's something we haven't really done in the past couple years. And so to be able to kind of have momentum going into the rest of the season and not trying to kick it into gear the second half is going to be huge. And it feels a lot better to be going in with some juice.
The defensive effort was obviously phenomenal. 4 forced turnovers, 4 sacks. Just what can you say about, you know, the effort on that side of the ball?
I can say that we prepared for this moment. We preach turnovers throughout the week. You know, we have a turnover circuit. We go through a bunch of drills to get into the ball, and we emphasize just playing hard. I feel like we did that tonight. You know, we got a lot to improve on. You know, finishing 4 quarters, but I feel like we have a lot to build on.
There was a stretch in the second quarter. You guys had sacks on 3 straight plays, 2 to end the drive, and then 1 on the next drive. Like, just what was that kind of sequence like? How much, you know, just energy did you get from that? Because obviously, I mean, it was a big part in that second quarter.
Well, yeah, everybody builds off of that type of energy. You know, when we generate sacks, when we're getting in the backfield, the whole defense feeds off of that. It's rushing coverage works hand in hand, and when we're getting in the backfield and they're covering the back end, we're solid.
To force as many turnovers as you had, and the offense, you know, really protecting the ball as well. Like, how much does that also just kind of fuel the defense to really, you know, keep producing turnovers and keep playing?
Oh yeah, we say we hunt, so we're hunting for the ball every play. You know, every chance we get, we punching at the ball, going up for picks. You know, fumbles, force fumbles, anything. So yeah, that really thrives our defense.
Eric, it felt like you guys were just swarming the backfield all game, and guys were just surrounding the quarterback. How did you guys manage that, and like how did you build off that momentum as you guys kept going and going and going?
Well, I feel like Coach Clyde does a great job in preaching knockback, which is just getting off the ball and getting in the backfield. We drill it every day in practice. It's our staple on defense, and as a D line, that we live off of getting in the backfield, making plays, and causing havoc.
Eric, obviously you had 2 sacks on the day. Just what's it like to have that kind of performance on homecoming weekend, and what excites you most about the rest of your season on this team?
Well, it was a blessing to have those 2 sacks today. I would give it all to God. I put all my faith in God throughout the week, throughout the season, and he blessed me with 2 sacks, and I can appreciate him anymore. And I see myself building on that throughout the season. You know, just keep working, keep getting better. Always something to get better on, and I feel like I have that mindset which I can build on.
Kyle, just defensive effort, you know, 4 turnovers. You had 2 of them. Like, just how much fun was it, you know, just getting stops, you know, playing that well on that side of the ball tonight?
I think it's always fun playing with the guys. You know, over time, we built a lot of chemistry in a little amount of time. So just playing with each other and playing fast and physical is just always fun.
3rd play of the game for Liberty, and you punch the ball out, and you know, you guys recover. Like, how much maybe did that play really set the tone for you guys that early in the game to force a turnover? Like, just how much did that really kind of jumpstart you guys?
So in high school, a coach always told me early, just start it off early. So like that's what I was thinking, like set the tone. And when I made that play and I seen my coach and all the guys just running up to me, I just felt their energy, and I just wanted to keep it rocking.
Defense coordinator Brandon Fisher, obviously, you know, a lot of experience, comes from a head coaching family. Like, what has it been like working with him, and like how has he really, you know, kind of brought out the best in the defense so far?
This defense is fun. Like, playing in this defense is, I don't know, like they give you options and they're not controlling you like you're an AI. So just like having fun and flying around, it's just playing under him is like, I don't know, it's just fun.
It felt like Liberty did a good job of mixing things up with their running backs in the backfield and kind of giving you guys different things to look at the same types of formations. What were the challenges with that, and how were you guys able to overcome that and really stifle their run game for most of the game.
I seen that because their running back, I didn't treat him as an actual running back. I treated him as a wide receiver instead. So putting him in the backfield was a big challenge because now you have a very skilled player at running back to be able to like go against DBs and like put them against matchups that's not ideal to the scheme. So just like being in that position to guard him was like challenging, but I'm so glad that I overcame it, you know.
Obviously, you got that interception.
Yeah.
During that same quarter. Could you walk us through that play? I felt like you had that one like thread the entire time when you jumped into that pass.
All right, so off the motion, I seen him, and I seen that X had a cut split, and that slot receiver was off. So I'm thinking they were about to switch, but I didn't know if he was gonna switch and go in or out. But when I seen him switch and I seen the quarterback just eyeing him out, like from then I just knew that he was going out, and I just made a play.
Congrats on a great performance today. Obviously, playing on a defense with guys like Dorian Pringle and Eric George and just all these great players, what's your favorite part or the best part about being part of this unit that is able to be so effective?
Just the fellowship that we have with each other, like building our relationship centered around God, like that's big for us in general. Like, and having that fellowship within our brotherhood, like within this team, it's unmatched.
Gilel, you said it earlier. You're just having so much fun playing under this playing under this defense. Can you just elaborate more on what specifically is making it so fun for you and your position specifically to be able to enable you to have so much fun playing a sport that you've been playing your whole life?
So in my position, I play free, like just freely to do dang near whatever I want within the scheme. So I think that's just what makes it fun overall. So.